A very good morning to Sir Azad and all of our classmates. I'm Vaisiney Chandrasekaran. Today, me and my group members are going to present on our lesson plan. The topic of our minor project is instructional styles and strategies. For our lesson, we have Sir has actually given us a common style to implement in our lesson plan. First and foremost, I'm going to explain about our lesson plan. So basically the subject is physical education and we have chosen secondary form 2 and the hour for the lesson is 1 hour. So the theme of our lesson is volleyball and the topic will be about underhand serving based on volleyball. So for the content standard, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to, since we have to copy from the DSKP, so it's in Malay, melakukan kemahiran asas bola tanpa dengan lakuan yang betul, menggunakan pengetahuan konsep pergerakan dan prinsip mekanik dalam kemahiran asas bola tanpa, membentuk kumpulan dan bekerjasama dalam kumpulan semasa melakukan aktiviti fizikal. Moving on to the learning standard pembelajaran, melakukan kemahiran servis bawah dan servis atas dalam situasi permainan. Mengenal pasti pilihan servis yang sesuai digunakan dalam situasi permainan. Bekerjasama mencapai matlamat yang sama semasa melakukan aktiviti fizikal dalam kumpulan. So these are the content standard and learning standard based on our theme, volleyball, and based on our topic, underhand serving. Moving on to the learning objectives. In our learning objectives, there are 3 aspects. First is psychomotor. Based on psychomotor, the objectives will be students should be able to interpret the underhand serve and serve the ball passing through the net at 3 meter and 7 meter line within 15 minutes. For the second aspect, which is cognitive domain, students should be able to apply the basic understand serve techniques based on the teacher's demonstration within 5 minutes. And the last aspect, affective domain, students should be able to execute the underhand serve in the serve zone individually within 30 seconds. For the success criteria of our lesson is, students will be able to develop individual skills, teamwork, creativity, discipline, and dynamic effort with fun and enjoyment of active movement and controlling the ball during the volleyball play. So throughout this lesson, the moral value will be students will increase their discipline and they have greater possibility of tasks being completed on time. And for the last one, cross-curricular elements, teaching aids, teaching mode, and the 21st century learning, and also thinking skill and teaching and learning evaluation. We are focusing on, since it's command style, so students will be focusing on teachers' instruction, and then based on their 21st century learning, students will gain effective communication, they will be able to work in group, and they will be able to think strategically. So the teaching and learning evaluation based on our lesson plan is we will be using rubrics and score sheet. That's all from me. Thank you. Okay, I'm mute ready.
Hi sir, my name is JEEVA VASHINE and today I'm going to talk about introduction part. So I'm going to talk about underhand serve in volleyball. Introduction about volleyball is 2 teams bout with players and high net. Each team tries to score points by grounding ball on the other team's court over the net. There is no time limit and whichever team gains 25 points wins the set. Here we focus on underhand serving used in volleyball. And for the definition of underhand serve is ball in one hand, swings the other in up motion below the waist, and strikes the ball from the bottom with fist. The player does not toss the ball up in the air. Moving on to the muscle part, underhand serve by volleyball involves two type of joint, which is glenohumeral joint flexors and elbow joint extends. Movements and muscle involved in the deltoid, pectoralis major, triphysis, tricep brachia, and forearm at the shoulder and elbow. So these are the appendix A for the muscular system used in underhand. Next, moving to um, volleyball court anatomy. And volleyball court anatomy is the service area, center line attack, and standard divide the court in half and mark the place for the net. And this is the volleyball court referring to service area and attack line. So moving on, before starting to play the volleyball game, teacher will be having a general warming up section for the students. So teacher will jog for squat for 20 seconds. Second, teacher will do hip rotation for 20 seconds. Thirdly, teacher will do shoulder rolls for 20 seconds as well. So this helps students to warm up, increases heart rate and blood flow, allowing more oxygen and to reach muscles and improving movement efficiency. And lastly, for the introduction part is stretching. After doing a general warm-up, teacher will also do stretching part. So teacher will do arm stretches, students will follow. Teacher will keep arms straight and rotate in backwards circles for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, rotate arm in forward circle. Second is teacher will do stretch hamstring for 10 seconds on each. Students will follow. Third stretching is teacher will do brisk stretch on each side. Students will follow. So this can make them to warm up and make our body relax before we start doing our volleyball under serve game. So this stretching makes students to increase blood flow to muscles to reduce soreness and injury risk. That's all from my introduction part. Moving on to my friend.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Muhammad AIMAN bin MAZIAN, and I'll be explaining about the development phase. So the first one for development phase for activity one is basic to underhand serve, where the first one the teacher will ask the students to make a big circle. Second one, each of the students will be given a ball. Third one, teacher will demonstrate on how to perform the underhand serve. So how to perform the proper technique of underhand serve. The first one, stand with non-dominant foot in front. Next, non-dominant hand holding ball loosely at hip height. The third one is make a fist with the dominant hand and turns the arm such that the heel of the hand is up. It depends on the students. If the hands of the student, the dominant hand is left hand, then they will make a fist with their left hand. The fourth one, backward extension of the dominant or serving arm. Swings the arm forward and strike the ball with the non-dominant hand. And the last but not least, follow through with the arm. The fourth one, students will practice the steps in 5 minutes. Then the teacher will observe the students and give feedbacks. So this is based on the appendix A. This is the examples of on how to perform a proper technique of underhand serve. So as you can see, it follows with these steps, right? Moving on to the second activity, which the second activity for development phase, which the name of the activity is the 3 and 7 meters surf. This activity is basically the combination of basic surf and as well as the distance, where we learn about things that if we want to do the lesson plan of PE, physical education, we must have this combination. So basically, for the second activities is the combination of basic surf and distance. So the first one, the teacher will ask the students to get into a line. The teacher will explain about the 3 meter and 7 meter line in volleyball court. The teacher will demonstrate on how to surf at 3 meter. So at 3 meter line, the teacher will ask the students to stand at 3 meter line. The teacher will use the underhand serve and serve past the net. Then the teacher asks the students to serve the ball for 3 times. The fourth one, the teacher, right after we finish at the 3 meter lines, then the teacher will demonstrate on how to perform an underhand serve at the 7 meter line. So the teacher will ask the student to stand at 7 meter line. The teacher will use the underhand serve and serve the ball pass through the net. Last but not least, at the 7 meter line, the teacher will ask the students to serve the ball 3 times. Teacher then circulates the class and give feedbacks. So based on the appendix B, as you can see on your left side, that is the example of 3 meter line, and on your right side is the example of 7 meter line. So by doing this, will help the students to improve their technique in underhand serve in two different distance. Moving on to the last activity, which is activity 3 for development phase, which the name of the activity is the surf zone, which are the combination of time as well as obstacle. The first one, the teacher will demonstrate on how to perform the surf from the surf zone while using the underhand surf. So the first one, the teacher will ask the students to stand at the surf zone, which at the back of 3 meter, at the back of 7 meter line, right? Then teacher will use the underhand surf and surf. What is surf zone? Surf zone is basically this area zone is a 9 meter wide section behind each end line that continues to the free zone's ends. It is 15 centimeter long and drawn as an extension of the sidelines, 20 centimeter behind the finish line. The student will be given 30 seconds to serve as much as they can to see how many balls can pass through the net. Part 1, the teacher will observe the student's score and circulate them. Last but not least, the teacher will give the feedback of the student's performance. So based on the appendix C, as you can see from the picture, that is the example of surf zone, which are at the back of the 7 meter line. That is the example of surf zone area where most of the professional volleyball player serve in this area. So by doing this activity, it really helps the students to feel the real feelings in serving using underhand serve, which the teachers will give the exposure to the students. And I think that's all from me in development phase. And moving on to other presenter.
Don't need good bro. Okay. Hello, my name is NASUHA, and today I will be presenting on our lesson evaluation phase. Okay, so for the evaluation phase, since our entire lesson will be using the common style, we will also put the same in our evaluation. And for our evaluation, we'll be doing competition. And okay, so the firstly, the teacher will divide the students into groups of 5 in each group. And next, the student will stay in the court, and the teacher will label the court as side A and side B. The court will be separated by net. And next, the student will be at the B side and one student will stay in the A side. The teacher will pick which student to stay on which side. Okay, as for the next part, the first student in the B side will be labeled as student A, B, C, and D. Student A and B will be stay in the 3-meter line, while the student C and D will stay in the 7-meter line. Okay, and the student in the A side will receive instruction from the teacher on which student in the B side they need to serve the ball to. And it is important for the student to use the underhand serve technique, and each student must pass at least 5 times before exchange player. And the major requirements is that the ball need to be passed over the net and and the student need to use the correct technique. Okay, and for the last part, the teacher will evaluate student based on the performance with rubrics, and the groups with the higher score will win. And this is our evaluation form. It has been separated by 5 criteria, which is technique, accuracy, power, consistency, and communication. And this is our score sheet, which consists 10 criteria for every members. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum and good day to Sir and my fellow classmates. I am ANDRIANA binti RAMLAN, and today I would like to present the closure part, which is mainly the cooling down and also reflection. So basically this is our report version of closure part. So first, the teacher will give student water break for 2 minutes. The water break is basically to hydrate the students from the activities before. And next, the teacher will ask students to gather again in a form of big circle facing the teacher. So this is because it is easier for the teacher to make sure all the students able to see and listen what the teacher says when they were forming into a big circle facing the teacher, and also the teacher also can able to observe the students movement during the cooling down section. So next, the teacher will stand in the center and give the cooling down section. This is to make sure the students able to see the teacher clearly. Next, student will do a side stretch for 10 seconds on each side while listening to the teacher's instruction, where the side stretch will be performed as the feet apart, one arm extended with hand only, the arm extended up in the end. And next, the students will do arm circles for 10 seconds on each side while listening to the teacher's instruction. So this phase where the students will stand straight, one arm against side of the body, the other arm extended out to the side and moved in a circular motion, which is clockwise and anti-clockwise. So here we have focused only on the stretches and also arm circles. Um, we given more attention to both of these cooling down process activity, because volleyball mainly focuses on the upper body parts such as arms and also shoulders. And then the teacher will ask students to sit within their circle on the ground. So sitting on the ground in circles is basically to make them can see all the demonstration of techniques later on, which will be asked by the teacher. So moving on to the process of question and answer, where the teacher will proceed to recap the section by picking students randomly. So there is basically questions sounds like how many numbers of players does each volleyball team has, where the answers is basically 6 players for one team and total is 12 players for two teams. And for the second question, what type of serving did you learn? Basically, it's an hand serving where it's clearly stated in the topic of the day. Then we have named two types of joints involved in the underhand serve by volleyball, where it is named as cleaner humeral joint flexus and also elbow joint extend. This is clearly given in the definition part. The second last question is demonstrate the technique of underhand serving, where the answers is basically the technique will be taught by the teacher in the development phase will be conducted again or demonstrated again by the students who will pick randomly during the question and answer section. The last question will be what is the procedure to contact the ball, and the answer is basically step in opposite, transfer, break forward, strike, ball, follow through with extend arm to the target. Okay, basically this answer will be given in the definition part during the explanation of teacher. So all the questions asked in this part is basically all the informations given during the lesson conducted in the teaching and learning process. And at last, the teacher will end up the section or the class. And then moving on for the reflection part, where the teacher will be doing the reflection once after the teacher ended the class. So here is the reflection part we have basically created in the lesson plan. So yeah, that's all for my part and our group. Thank you.